Okay, hi guys, welcome back to the 911. Up again today, working on the car. I've come up a bit later today. I've been doing a whole bunch of other things. It's about 3 o'clock now. I'm going to spend a couple of hours up here just to tinker away, just to see what I can get done, you know. So what I'm going to have a look at is this front right-hand side corner. I built up the radiator with the new resistor and the fan yesterday, which you would have seen on the previous video, and I'm now going to dig out the radiator bracket, the radiator frame, and fit that to the car. So I dug a little bit about before I started the video, and this is it, freshly powder coated. You may remember a year or so ago I rubbed these down and painted them really badly myself. So I just thought I'll just have them powder coated. It's the best and strongest way to have them done, because that's what it was originally. In fact, the coating on this is now better than it was originally. So that is the right hand side, and you can tell it's the right one because obviously it fits, but also it's somewhere here. It has an R and an E, which stands for rechts, which is right. Where is it? I found it. There it is. You probably can't see it, but see if I can get it in there. There you go, an R and an E, rechts, which is right in German. So I've got some new catches for here. I can't quite remember what they're called, the little catches that go in here. Captive nuts, I think they're called, captive nuts. So I've got 1, 2, 3 to go in there. I've got the rubber bungs to go into there. And I've just got to find the screws, because there are 2 bolts that go in the bottom and a nut that goes in the top here, and 2 bolts that go in the bottom. I don't know why I always get nuts and bolts and screws confused. It's just one of those things, but you know me well enough by now. So yeah, as I say, I don't want to scratch it, but it'll go on there and then bolt up at the bottom, and then we'll build the radiator and see if we can get the AC condenser on there as well. So that's the plan. Okay, so having learnt my lesson from the studs at the rear of the car for the subframe, I'm re-tapping every nut and bolt hole on the car, because it's surprising how much stuff gets in there when you're doing this sort of work. That one's fine. So these under here, which are the captive nut holes for the radiator bracket, front right hand side, will be the same on the left hand side. The thread pattern is an M8 by 1.25. Okay, so I found all the nuts and bolts. They're an M8 by 16, so 16 millimeter bolts, quite short really. So yeah, I'm just giving these a clean up, and I'll put some zinc spray on. Okay, so that didn't take long at all just to clean these up, and actually they're looking pretty good, some better than others. But obviously, as I say, I'll put some zinc spray on there. The captive of the nuts, it took a bit more cleaning up, and you're probably thinking I'm mad because why doesn't he buy some more or new ones? And yeah, I guess some of you would be right in saying that, but you know, if you remember my Land Rover restoration, I tried to use as much as the original hardware as I could. I just prefer doing that. And if it's still usable, then why not? You know, why throw it away? So it takes a little bit more time, a little bit more work, but there's just not so much waste, and it means I can actually, you know, get on and use the parts now rather than having to order them and wait for a day or two. So that's the reason why I reuse as much as I can really from the car. And one more thing, when I was cleaning these up, there was some blue thread locker on there, so I've got some thread locker, so I just have to remember to put that on when I put them back in. about 5 minutes to do all of that. Well, actually a bit more, maybe 10 minutes, but that's absolutely fine by me, and they are absolutely usable. So this is the right hand side bracket for the radiator, and these are the little captive nuts that go into here. 1, 2, 3. So there should be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Excellent. And they go in from the top down. So I'm just going to put a small bit of copper grease on there and ease them in. It's so much easier not to wear gloves in the garage, but it's better to wear gloves as much as you can, because my hands just get so dirty. I'm forever cleaning my hands and nails and all of this, and that's even with me using gloves pretty regularly. Right, where's my car? There it is. And again, me doing all of this, like lubrication and stuff, you know, some of you might also think that's a little bit overkill, but I think if you do this amount of work on a car to this detail, I think you want to do it. Or at least I do anyway. It does make things a bit messy. There's probably a better grease I can use, you know, like a synthetic one or something, like a silicone grease. In fact, I've got some silicone grease. Maybe I should use that. He says getting it absolutely everywhere. But anyway, we'll gloss over this. Maybe we'll cut this bit out. God bloody Nora, they are tough. They are seriously difficult to get in. That's going to scratch the coating. Oh no, that is clearly not the way to do it. I'm going to double check the part number to make sure that is the right one. And I need my phone for that. Haha, yes, silly. Because they don't go in that way, they go in that way. So let's try that again with all 3 of them. I'm sure we'll have a lot less trouble getting them in. Oh, what a surprise. They go in without a problem. Right, here we are. There we go. One more. I say they go in this way. They seem a little bit illogical to go that way, because obviously things presumably screw up from the bottom, don't they? Yes, of course they do. Silly me. Oh dear. Okay, that's really annoying. I can't find any reference images of whether these clips go on the bottom or the top. I'm guessing logically they go from the bottom, because you know, you're not going to have screws sticking down into the bottom of the car, you know, out of the bottom of the car, and this is pretty much the lowest point. So I'm going to remove them and then fit them when I need them. Go. Okay guys, so that was a bit of a failure because I put that bracket on first, as you saw, and then tried to fit the radiator, and it doesn't fit. It goes in through these, you know, it's got studs either end here which go into there and into the body, and you can't possibly get those on without one of those brackets being off, either that one or that entire thing. And of course it has to be this one, because if you were to remove that and try and fit that later, you can't get to this screw, this nut here. So I think you have to assemble them on that bracket, and then offer it all up, and then fit the condensers afterwards. I think that's probably going to be the way. That's how I must have done it when I disassembled them, but I can't remember because it was such a long time ago. Okay guys, it's a bit difficult to know how much of this to actually film, because I think what I'm going to do is, before I put the thread locker in and things like that, I'm just going to sort of set it up, which I should have done before really, just loose, just so it all fits. So what I've done is I don't know if you can see that, but I've obviously got the gearbox lift here, or jack, with a bit of polystyrene, just so I've got this up here. because what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to connect the radiator to the pipework before I put the bracket on. So I've got the bracket down here. I've cleaned up and put on these rubber bungs here, so I can literally just sort of install that once I've got the radiator attached. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll put it on time lapse because it could take a while. It's actually quite interesting, so I thought I'd take you off time lapse and show you, because it hasn't taken too long. Basically, I've just slipped I used a bit of oil on the connectors here to the main radiator hoses, and those slid on really easily. I've just pushed that connector into there, and it makes it 1,000 times easier with this this gearbox jack, I can tell you that. So I'm just going to go into that fitting back there and ease these ones in here too. So, moment of truth. It's already lifted up. Oh yes. Let me just get you out of here. Look at that. Oh man, that looks so cool. Jesus, I love it. Up there, down there, around there. So whether this is the right sequence, I have no idea, but it doesn't seem too illogical, having messed it up the first time. Very cool. Very cool indeed. What I'm going to do is, because I'm far from finished, I'm going to have to put some kind of a cover over here. I might even remove them before I start putting the suspension in, just to keep them protected. Or maybe, as I say, just a piece of cardboard over the front will do it. But yeah, that is starting to look good. Okay, so just some small adjustments. There was one here of the horn, so I was just checking fitting here, and this was actually pushing up against the horn here, the radiator body. So I just loosened that off and just moved it ever so slightly inwards. Okay, I'm just spending a little bit of time here, getting everything cleaned up in here. I've seen here that the tape for these cables is a little bit knackered, and all these lines are really dirty, so I've cleaned these up a little bit. I'm going to do this plug a little bit more so it's all nice and spick and span, but I'm just going to tidy this joint up here. There we are, all done, nice and tidy. See if I can get this cleaned up a little bit more, get rid of all these little hairs and stuff. But yeah, that's looking a lot better. Okay, so I'm just going to prepare the other side, but I've filmed doing this before, so I'm just going to cut straight through it and come back to you when I'm done on this side. Okay guys, so that is now finished. The electric's done on the fan, all plugged in. New clips here and here. I need to order some more of those actually. But that's it for today. I'm going to pack up now, and I'm going to tidy up tomorrow because it's bank holiday Monday tomorrow, so I'll be up here again. And just to see how far I get. I'll see you tomorrow.